Not sure, but as a witness said in committee, and I'll quote, "If I wanted to draft a bill that would kill the industry, it would look an awful lot like this."
Reaction from lawmakers after Senate Bill 56 passes and moves to the House with major changes. The Ohio Senate has advanced that bill to overhaul the marijuana laws voters approved.
And Senate Bill 56 was approved along party lines, but changes were made. Caroline Gerhardt is joining us live to break down some of those changes. Caroline?
Yeah, I have just a few pages of Senate Bill 56 here with me. Again, just a few of an almost 150-page long bill. Now we're talking about some of those changes that were made before it passed the Senate yesterday. And the biggest one to note is that tax revenue from marijuana sales that originally, when it was first introduced in the bill, was going to go into the state's general fund. It's going back to the way it was before. So that was the biggest point of contention when this bill was first introduced. Now those funds are being distributed between social equity and job programs, most importantly going back into municipalities that have dispensaries. There's some going towards substance abuse and addiction programs, and then some going towards the actual running of the cannabis programs for the state. Now, a few other things to note, some things that stayed the same in this bill, things that are preventing cannabis sellers from making these products, marketable to children, so they can't use any kind of cartoon characters to sell those products to children. So it's definitely things working on the safety of it. But again, the biggest thing that people were upset about was that tax revenue. And you're about to hear from one lawmaker who was not happy with these changes back to the way that it was before it passed.
Marijuana legalization should not be a partisan issue, but this legislation is so far away from what the voters supported that you have to ask who this legislation is actually for. Is it for the large billion-dollar out-of-state corporations that hold most of the level 1 licenses? Is it for the governor and others that hate marijuana to start with?
Like I said, those tax changes were not included in the version of the bill that passed through the Senate, but they could still be included as additions to the state's 2-year budget. So we'll see what happens with that. But for now, this bill is going to the House for a vote. And then if it passes the House vote, it will go to Governor DeWine's desk to be signed into law. With photojournalist David Palmer, I'm Caroline Gerhardt, Fox 19 Now.